Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Tina and my aim is to improve your drawings just like others have done for me when I just started out. This week I've got another review for you in store. I've already done a few pastel pencil reviews and I'm planning to do some more. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe to my channel. In this week's tutorial I'll have a look at the pastel pencils from CRETACOLOR. Now I actually thought I had these pencils, but it turns out that I only just owned a few of them. So I asked them as an early birthday present. My birthday isn't until October, by the way. Like always, I will divide my thoughts in different categories to help you get a better understanding of these pencils. I'll probably mention this a few times more, but keep in mind that these are my personal opinions and that I'm speaking as an artist who mostly draws realistic wildlife. To help me get a better understanding of the CRETACOLORs, I've used these pencils to draw the shark in last week's tutorial. If you want to check that out, click the link you'll see in the screen or check it out in the description below. Before I get started with my review, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help my channel grow on YouTube. I appreciate it a lot because with each click this channel grows and I'm able to reach more people just like yourself. Okay, now let's get started with the first category. First up, I'm looking at their packaging and presentation. I just received this box the day I filmed this, so this is the first time I'll have a look at what you get. I ordered the big set of 72, now this comes in a tin with some paper sleeve around it, and inside you'll find two plastic trays which hold the pencils. For me, this isn't such a big deal as I store all of my pencils in drawers, but if you keep your pencils in this box, they are definitely not as securely stored as some other boxes. You can buy these in sets and open stock, and as far as I can tell, you can buy them in a set of 12, 24, 36 and lastly a set of 72. When it comes to the pencils themselves, I personally quite like their look. They have a beautiful wooden casing and at the tip you'll find the color matching that of the pencil. Otherwise you'll find the name and a code of the pencil, making it easy to reorder them. You'll also find the name of the brand stamped on the pencil. And then, last but not least, something worth mentioning is the fact that you won't find anything about lightfastness on the pencils. More about that in the next category. So I would give them a 3 out of 5 for their packaging and presentation. Now moving on to my second category, their color range and lightfastness. Let me start with their color range. Overall, I'm quite pleased with the colors that are available. I particularly like their grays. They have lots of grays in the set and I quite like all of their colors. You get a different browns, but not as many as I would have liked. Like I said in my intro, this is mainly due to the fact that I draw wildlife most of the time, and for these drawings or paintings, beautiful browns and grays are just a necessity. Instead of the browns you will find lots of beautiful pinks, purples, yellows and oranges. Now these aren't colors I use a lot, as such I would have preferred some more browns or grey shades instead. However, if you like to draw abstract painting or landscapes, you might find these colors amazing because they produce beautiful vivid colors. Now their lightfastness is where it becomes a little tricky. I mentioned before that there are no symbols on the wooden casings to indicate the lightfastness of the pencil. This is simply because they have no ratings. When you buy a box from them, it simply states that they are lightfast approved. I did some searching on the internet and I couldn't find any clarification on the topic. So my suggestion would be to say that if you are not selling your art, this doesn't even matter, but if you are planning to sell your art, you could take this into account. Or not, your choice. Even pencils that don't have a high rating will not fade overnight. And if taking proper care, for example no direct sunlight and the ultimate precaution behind museum glass, will ensure that the colors remain intact for longer, even the ones with a lower rating. On a personal note, I use these pencils more to support my main brands, which means that a lot of the colors will be blended with each other. This makes me confident in the quality of the artworks I produce. Time for their score. I am quite harsh on them and I will give them a 2 out of 5. Keep in mind that this is with the wildlife artist in mind and might be different if I were doing different styles of art. For example, my Swiss fellow artist friend Marie-Jeanne on Instagram, you can find her as, will love these, as she draws beautiful vibrant flowers. Go check her out and see what I'm talking about. For my third category, their visual appeal and performance. CRETACOLOR has made pencils that have a good level of pigment in their pastel pencils. Now a trademark feature of pastel pencils is of course their bright and vivid colors. The CRETACOLOR pencils mostly have no issue with this aspect, but I did find that they excel in their darker colors. I do think other brands have better choice when it comes to the lighter colors. While they do put down vivid colors, I believe other brands have higher levels of intensity. Of course, you can work around this by applying more and using more layers. There are only two problems with this. The first problem is that the result of your color can be darker than you intended, and the second is that your paper will fill up faster, making adding details later a bit harder. This last issue is only something that really matters when you need a lot of layers though. I did find that these pencils are quite sturdy, and as such I didn't have any issue with sharpening. This might be due to the fact that they have a slightly bigger core. I also have to mention that I use the sharpening tool from Caran d'Ache and the Hovel to sharpen my pencils. I haven't tried this out with a crank handle sharpener, so I can't tell you what they will do if sharpening them that way. On a side note, when it comes to sharpening, I never use a crank handle sharpener. I find it to be quite tiresome. A lot of the pencils you sharpen with this just snap way too easily, and because your knife becomes blunt so fast, you need to change this frequently. So for all my sharpening, I just use the ones I mentioned before. If you want to learn more about sharpening, check out the video that will appear in your screen. And when it comes to the blending, which is a major part of a good pastel pencil, I was very happy with the results. They seem to blend quite seamlessly. Also, when using these pencils, I was able to get a lot of layers out of them. I am working on pastel matte though, which I think attributes to this a lot. Now on to the score. They don't remind me of the feeling I get when I'm using Caran d'Ache pencils or even Carbotellos, but they are still very decent. This is why I would give them a 3.5 out of 5. And finally, for the last category, let's talk money and value. This is starting to become my least favorite category because it took me a lot of research just to reach to the conclusion that their price is all over the place. I had the same problem the last time, so I'm only taking a look at the biggest set where the price was between 109 and 169 euros, so this is a very big gap. My opinion is that if you can find them at a lower price, then they are definitely worth it, and if the price you find is more geared towards the higher spectrum, I would pass. When it comes to open stock, there was only one site where I could order the pencils individually, and I could buy them at 1.95 euros each. This is the price that falls exactly in the middle of the two extremes I mentioned when I was talking about the price of the biggest set. Now this isn't a bad price, this is the price you'll pay for a lot of pastel pencils on the market. And for this price you also get a decent pastel pencil. So for money and value, I will give them a 3 out of 5. Finally, I've reached the conclusion. This is the most important one. If I have to take everything in account, what do I think of these pencils? While I do love working with them, they are good pastel pencils, but they aren't amazing. For the same money or less, you could already buy the Carbotellos or the Pit Pastels from Faber-Castell. And they just aren't a match for either of these two. That isn't to say I wouldn't work with them. I think I mentioned it before, but they are good to supplement your main sets. You can pick some of the colors you don't find in any other set to add to your collection. So for the final score, I will give them a 3.5 out of 5. I'll just mention this one more time. Keep in mind that these are all my personal opinions and that I'm judging them based on the art pieces I create. So that's it for this review. Let me know in the comments below if you share mine or whether you have a different opinion. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate your support as this helps to grow my channel and reach other people just like yourself. Hope to see you again next Friday, and in the meantime, have a great week.